Yeah, while I'm out here driving, I just started thinking a couple things about self-defense and what we think about when it comes to using a firearm to protect ourselves. Sometimes we forget there's so many elements that have to come into play, from the law to the actual act itself. What do we do? How do we do it? Our safety. We learn the 4 safety rules of a firearm. We all think that some of these things are just basics. They're just set up just for guns and just for shooting at the range. And we forget that the 4 safety rules applies to self-defense shooting. You have to treat every gun if it's loaded. You have to make sure of your target and its backdrop. You never point your firearm at something you're not willing to shoot or legally allowed to shoot. And you never put your finger on that trigger until you're ready to pull the trigger. Those are 4 basic rules of gun safety, and they all come into play when it comes to self-defense. If you think about each and every one of those, you have innocent civilians, innocent citizens is behind your target, next to your target, or around you. It's never just you and the bad guy unless it's in your home. And if it is in your home, you also have family members you have to think of. When it comes to the law and self-defense, we have to know what we can and can't do when it comes to self-defense. You can't just think that this guy scared me or this guy broke into my house, so I have a right to shoot him. Unless you have fear of loss of life for yourself or an innocent, or serious bodily injury to yourself or an innocent, you can't use deadly force. You cannot use deadly force to protect property. And all these things come into play when it comes to self-defense. We have to think of the Shark Tank analogy. If we're going to use a firearm to defend ourselves, think of the Shark Tank. If I drop something in that Shark Tank, what is worth going in after it? My $1,000 cell phone, my wallet, my child. What is worth jumping in that Shark Tank? And if you can't think of that, you need to start reevaluating yourself and get yourself in the right mind of what I can and can't do when it comes to use of force. All we're trying to do on this channel is keep you out of jail and keep you safe. That's all I care about. And you've got to understand that not every self-defense case is cut and dry. It's how it's interpreted in the courts. And that's the frustrating part, is we may look at something we've seen on YouTube and look at it and think that was justified. Not justified. I've got a video, I'll probably post it tonight or tomorrow, but everybody's already seen it. It's the guy who punched another individual in the bar who had grabbed a girl. And you could tell one of them was intoxicated and the other one was angry. But was there still a threat? Was there an ongoing threat? No. Just because a threat happened doesn't mean you have the right to use force after that threat is stopped. It's just like we talk about shooting to wound or shoot to kill. We don't do any of those things. We shoot to stop the threat, and that's it. We don't go any further. We don't go any lighter. We just shoot until that threat stops, and the threat stops, we stop. Now, I do a lot of force-on-force training, and when I do this training, I'll put a scenario and I'll have somebody come at you with a gun or a knife, and the minute you get your firearm out, they drop theirs and they start to walk away. You need to make the decision, can I shoot this person or not? Garner v. Tennessee teaches officers they can shoot a fleeing felon, and it sets that precedence, but you also have to really come into play. What felon? How dangerous is this person to society? How dangerous are they to another person? And does that law affect you? Now, if I drop my gun and somebody drops their knife and runs away, I do not have a right to shoot them in the back. And so we have to really pull everything into the game. I just think about these things while I'm driving down the road here, and I want you guys to think about them. Whatever state you're in, if you're watching this video, whatever state you're in, I would like you to research your laws, on self-defense, and know what they are, understand what they are, learn them, know them inside and out, because you're not going to have time to go through that law in your mind during an actual incident. I teach 3-3-3. 3 seconds, 3 feet, 3 rounds. That's all you've got. You don't have time to look at a code book, and you don't have time to look at your Bible, or you don't have time to think about what my belief system is and am I allowed to do this. You don't have time to look at your firearm and say, is my firearm capable of defending myself? Is it a reliable gun? Is my ammunition going to stop this bad guy? You don't have time for that. That stuff should be done in training. That stuff should already be in your mind and already set, so when the time comes, you have no hesitations. It's a tough thing to think about sometimes. It's fast. You are your own first responder. Law enforcement usually gets there to do cleanup. Very seldom are we there to stop the act. The only time we're there on time is we serve warrants, or we actually pull somebody over, we respond, we are there in time, which is rare. So you are your own first responder. As you as a first responder to yourself, you better know the laws, you better know what your firearm's capable of doing, and the biggest thing is you better know what you're capable of doing. Don't have any hesitations in your mind, and you're going to be okay. So, like I said, if you like this channel, subscribe, share this video, and keep your head on a swivel and stay safe.